Hey there folks, Nick here, welcome back to Ashes Cricket. And it's likely that might well be the very last time we hear those words on this channel. It all depends on the comments below and whether you guys want to know or want to see what's coming up. So this episode here is going to be more of a look at where we've been, what we've done, how we've progressed as a player, and what we've achieved in the time since basically, I believe it was around the start of this year that this player was created. And to give us a little lead into Cricket 2019, which is coming, which is already out. It's out today. I've already picked it up, but I will be playing it after this, and there'll be a video coming out later this evening of my first looks and gameplay of Cricket 2019. But for now, let's jump right into having a look at my player and seeing what he's done. So we'll start at the My Player page. We don't need to worry about appearance or equipment, but let's have a look at the skills. As you may have seen at the end of the last episode, but you may not have, so we'll go through it all here. My batting rating is now an overall 70. My bowling rating, of course, is a 0. I'm an opening batsman. I'm just a batsman. I don't bowl. My fielding rating is 43. That's probably something I should really have lifted up a bit more. But, you know, obviously we want to focus on getting that batting rating up and becoming the best batsman I can be. So all my stats are, as you see here, footwork finished up on 72. My control 73, my attacking 73, my defending 67. Slowly bringing that one up as points were left after putting them on the things that I really wanted to put points on. And as you saw in the last match, defending did start to increase a little bit rather than just playing attacking shots all the time. Then the shot types. I try to play a variety of shots, and I try and vary the shots I play. So obviously I kept these fairly uniform. The sweep was one that took me a long time to bring up to 72 along with all the others, and that was mostly because I didn't play them at the beginning. As we got into the later forms of the game, once we started to get into the harder stages of cricket, you know, the international cricket and the IPL and stuff like that, the sweep, it became apparent to me that the sweep was a much more important shot, that I needed to play a lot more. I couldn't just get off with the drive style shots, so it brought the sweep up. Still haven't really done much with the special shots. Again, perhaps if I went further along in this career mode, or if I do continue on in this career mode and get into, you know, playing test matches against England and India and Sri Lanka, one day matches against Sri Lanka, and such, and find that the special shots are necessary, then of course I would have put them on. So as we saw, batting, that's my batting stats. Bowling, you know, token 7s on there. It means nothing, it does nothing, I don't really care. Fielding, as I said, average of 43, and that's mostly because the only one left is ground fielding that I need to lift up, and I just don't have the skill point left to do it. So realistically, my fielding rating is a 44 average, but that's where we're at, unfortunately. So that's my skill situation. My selection status, as is to be expected, I expect selection in basically everything at this point. There is nothing that I'm not expecting selection for, except for the things that I've said I'm not available for. And obviously that's just Caribbean Cup. However, the things that are really interesting, expecting selection for the one day and T20 World Championships, which is awesome. I would love to play in those, especially with the actual one day World Championship coming up very soon. The Tour of Zimbabwe Test Series, that's the match you saw yesterday. That continues on. Match 2 is coming up, but you know, unless you guys really want to see it, I won't be recording it. In fact, I may actually simulate past a lot of this stuff to get to the one day World Championship, which in game time is only about, I believe it should be starting after the next 2 test matches. So whether I have to play those test matches in order to get there, you know, maybe I need to perform well in those test matches to be selected, or if I could just simulate and let my player do what he wants and let it go like that. but a core member of the T20 squads, which is good. Core member is the next one up from fringe member. After fringe member, I believe it becomes regular member. Sorry, fringe member, regular member, core member. I forget. But anyway, I'm a fringe member or a core member of all of the teams that are currently picked, and of course, I'm expecting selection for pretty much everything upcoming. So no doubt about that. Let's have a quick look at the Manhattan. I'll start with first class graph. As you can see, we haven't played a proper first class match in a few weeks, a few game weeks, but the last few went pretty well. I think that red one on the right there is a 40-ish, maybe. That would be over 50. The red ones are all over 50. The blue ones are under 50. So there's a lot of over 50s there. That's really good. In List A, we didn't actually play a lot of List A cricket. Only the 19 matches. T20s, we played quite a few of those in various different places and such. And yeah, a lot of under 50s there, which is, it is what it is. 1, 2, 3 ducks in T20. That's nothing to be proud of, but it is what it is. Did I have any ducks in List A? No ducks in 50 over cricket. And I think just 2 in first class. And then back in the day, I think I didn't have a single duck. I had out for 1 in match 2, 4, 6, 8 in match 8, or innings 8, which would have been match 4. Actually back then, yeah, the other is all of the club cricket, isn't it? Either way, in my 8th match, I went out for 1. Looks like I went out for 2 or 3 about 5 or 6 matches later. But yeah, I've definitely gotten better than my other times. Let's have a look at our T20 international stats. Manhattan, rather. 45, that'd be about, 49 in my first international T20. Then a 63 in my second. Oh, no, it was 62, was it? 62 or 63. And then a 47 or a 45 or something in my third. Terrible effort in my fourth. And then, yeah, 90, I think that was 93 in my my most recent international T20 match. One-day international matches, we've only played the 3. Scored over 50 in 2 of those and scored bugger all in the middle one. I think it was only 9. Both Dave Warner and I went out for 9 in that second T20 international. And then, of course, Test. We've just played the 1. 2 innings in that one match. Scored 136, I believe, in the first innings, and then scored 58 off the top of my head, the second innings, which was yesterday's episode. Yeah, so that's my Manhattan graphs. Let's have a look at the actual important one. And finally, this is completely populated. I've been waiting for this moment my entire Ashes cricket career mode. So starting from the bottom, forgetting the bowling, starting from the bottom, we played 44 matches, participated in 59 innings, was not out 3 times for 2,713 runs, high score of 229, which is not too bad. That isn't my best high score anymore, though. Average of 48.45, faced 2,051 balls at a strike rate of 132.3, 5 100s, 17 50s, and caught 9 times. Then looking at our T20 performance, 55 matches, 55 innings, of course. Not out 4 times. That's not too bad. 2,210 runs, a high score of 123, which I'm pretty proud of. An average of 43.33 at a strike rate of 165.79. So that is a pretty excellent strike rate there. 400s in the process and 15 50s. Lots of 4s, lots of 6s, and again, caught 9 times. And then in the List A, the short form of the longer match. 18 matches played, 18 innings participated in, of course, just the single not out. just over 1,000 runs, just over 1,100 runs. High score of 173, so getting up there again. At an average of 68.9 and a strike rate of 148.5. So not too bad with 300s in there and the 650s out of 18 matches. That means in 50% of my matches I was getting at least a 50. So that's pretty damn good, and hence the average of 68.9. And only caught twice in 50 over cricket. And in first class, of course, 29 matches, 58 innings. Not out 6 times, which, again, very, very proud of. Didn't quite make it to 4,000 runs. Didn't quite make it to 400 either. That was really disappointing, but if you remember that match, that was epic. That went for about 4 or 5 episodes. If anyone wants to see the entire video of that in one, I'm happy to upload it, but yeah, I guess there's not really much point at this point. Average of 76, which is fan-bloody-tastic in my opinion in first-class cricket, at a strike rate of 165.7, which is pretty much my T20 strike rate. So I guess I play first-class like I play T20, which is pretty accurate, actually. 13 100s in there, so an average of 100 every other match, pretty much, and an average of a 50 almost 2/3 of the time. Yeah, doing really well in first class cricket, and only caught the 10 times in 58 innings. That's not too bad. And then we get, of course, to the T20 International. We've played 5 matches. We've, of course, participated in 5 innings. We've been not out once. Our only international not out. Thank you very much. We've taken 255 runs, and our high score was, of course, that 93 not out, which brought our average up to 63.75. Yeah, that's pretty much it. At a strike rate of 159.37. Haven't hit the 100, unfortunately. It's the only 0 in that column. Unfortunately, it really is. But we will have a Zimbabwe T20 coming up, and we might film that one a bit later on once Cricket 19 has got settled in. But have hit the 50 twice in T20 international cricket and not been caught once. Obviously been bowled or run out. One day internationals, we've played 3 matches. Haven't been not out quite yet, unfortunately. But at an average of 86.3 and a strike rate of and a high score of 173. Definitely making my name in international cricket with some scores like that. Strike rate of 158. So my T20 and one day international strike rates quite similar there, as you can see. And one day international, of course, we've had the 100 and the 150 and not been caught once. And in Test cricket, of course, the most recent match and the crowning glory of any cricketer, played the 1 match and participated in 2 innings. Unfortunately, been not out 0 times. There was the opportunity there in that last match, but just couldn't grasp it. For 192 runs in 2 innings, that's a fantastic average of 96. Just missed out on getting the 100 average. Awfully disappointed with that. I only did 8 more runs. I was quite happy to go out after that, but it was not to be. So at a strike rate of 126, a little bit more controlled. That's my slowest strike rate of any of the forms of cricket. But of course, I've populated those 2 columns there, the 100s and the 50s. I got 1 of each in that match. And with 26 4s and a 6, it's hard to understand how that wouldn't have happened. So those are my stats. We don't have any base statistics because we are a brand new player, a community player. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't give you a statistic point that tells you, what's been simulated. But the only things that were simulated, I think, were a couple of List A matches. So that could also be the reason that strike rate is down a little bit in List A as well, because obviously I bat fairly aggressively. So we've had a look at the selection stats, we've had a look at career stats, we've had a look at the Manhattan. Let's have a quick look at the standings, the rankings. Let's have a look at the international rankings. For men's test, Australia ranked number 1, of course. Ireland, as we mentioned a couple of episodes ago, the surprise number 2 in first class cricket rankings. Pakistan number 3, Sri Lanka number 4, or tied on number 3 with Pakistan. India have dropped down the rankings to number 5, along with South Africa. England and New Zealand, not a couple you'd expect to see, tied at number 7. And Bangladesh and Afghanistan, West Indies and Zimbabwe rounding out the bottom 4. The men's one-day international rankings, Australia, of course, at the top. But again, surprise, surprise, a tie with Ireland there. A strange inclusion. But it is 2022. Anything could happen between, what are we now, 2019? So in the next 3 years, you never know. Ireland could be developing a super squad of List A and first-class cricketers. The West Indies up there in List A, doing very, very well for themselves. Pakistan, of course, up there in List A rankings, and Afghanistan. India have dropped down a little bit. England are down there. South Africa down there. And New Zealand, Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe and Bangladesh rounding out the bottom 5. All tied up on 72. Some real surprises here in 2022 in Ashes cricket. The men's T20 rankings, we find a little bit of a switcheroo here. England and Sri Lanka tied on top. Sri Lanka not a surprise. England perhaps. Australia, India and South Africa tied in 3rd place. Ireland and Afghanistan there in 6th. And rounding out the bottom 5 is Pakistan, New Zealand, the West Indies, Zimbabwe and Bangladesh. So some real surprises there in the men's international cricket rankings. Yeah, I guess at this point there's nothing more for me to say other than, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to my Ashes Cricket Career Mode videos. I hope you've enjoyed them. If you have, tell me in the comments some of your favourite moments, if you can remember any of them. I guess my favourite moment is making the century on debut in my debut innings for Australia. That has to honestly be my genuine greatest memory. Oh, actually, no. Well, yes. That is, but also my first not done yet trophy, which only came a couple of episodes ago as well. So really my favourite parts of this series have been in the last few episodes, and that's mostly because I finally made the Australian team, which has been obviously the ultimate goal of any cricketer, as this game tells you. So guys, thanks very much for watching. As I said, Cricket 19 came out today, so tonight you can expect to see my first look at that. Make sure you tune in for that, hit subscribe if you'd like to catch that, and yeah, stay tuned guys. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you later tonight.
Jazz Club.